Wings.com. Again, givemybookwings.com.
Credit cards are not giving you flexibility, they're killing opportunity. The Ramsey Show on KMET Radio, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Smart talk for Southern California.
That's right. It's the morning show here on KMT 1490 AM, ABC News Radio. Glad to have each and every one of you with us. It is a beautiful August 31st, 2021. Where are you at in life? We want to know. It is an interesting time in Afghanistan. A lot of questions still happening right there. A lot of statements, a lot of questions. We'll see what happens. Some of the top headlines here. Johnson & Johnson potential HIV vaccine is falling short. Oh, interesting. So the HIV situation is a bit interesting right now because there's a lot of questions around that and coronavirus. And we'll see if we have some answers. In the meantime, we got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there.
Good morning.
Obviously, we're wondering, right? And more importantly, what are we going to do in life? How are you staying safe over there?
Yeah, I'm just staying away from people. To be honest, I really don't interact with giant crowds. So, yay me.
So it's easier for you, right?
It is easy for me. Like, staying inside, that's where all my stuff is.
Got it. Okay. Well, here's the news. Each and every one of you are going to be pretty amazed by, of course, things coming up in the future. Hopefully, it'll be all for good. I think people will be more loving, more kind, and more sympathetic because, of course, a lot of us are losing a lot of friends and family members due to coronavirus, and I hope we get ahead of it quite soon. I have to say, I've been wondering what the latest numbers are because as of late, we haven't really heard about the latest numbers. We kind of had an update. It was, 100,000, then it was 400,000 like overnight, and then it was 500,000. And in the U.S. alone, the current number is 648,051 deaths. So that's a lot. Confirmed COVID cases are 39,343,501. And I'm not quite sure if these are ones that actually got it more than once or got it a couple times. But we have seen a surge, and I'm looking at a number right now that surged as of about 10 days ago. Okay, it surged pretty significantly. The surge started in the beginning of August, and then it peaked on August, August 19th, actually. So it's kind of leveling off again in a good way, but sometimes when they come down, it comes down and then hits a new high quite soon and quite fast. Since we're going into the fall months, the question is, will it get colder? Will people get cold? Will they get the flu? And of course, those that wonder, which coronavirus is which and what does it make you feel like, it's all over the board right now. So if you feel sick and then some, you're hoping it's not coronavirus. Some go and they get tested. And again, I do want to bring up the numbers. The latest numbers are 39 million confirmed cases. It's almost 40 million. Of those, 648,000 deaths. Now, of those, there's still what they call post-COVID, meaning there's still people trying to get well from them. Even though you got out of the hospital, doesn't mean you're all 100% good. Some have fought it and beat it, but with new viruses mutating again and again and again, the question is, when are we going to stop it, if ever, right? How many people have to die and or then some? Now, that's just in the U.S. alone. The global cases all around the globe on this earth are 4,511,602 confirmed deaths. Now, of those confirmed that had or have COVID, there are confirmed 217,190,410. Now, having said that, almost close to 5 million since about a year and a few months. That's got to bring some really big perspective to anyone and everyone. From the moment I remember, they said we are in a pandemic. The World Health Organization saying that. Something weird to hear and yet weird to feel, because it was like, why are they making such a big deal? I don't think anyone at that time could have predicted that many people would have been lost on this globe due to one major virus. Do you think that, Jesse?
Honestly, I thought it would happen one day. I did not think I would be alive to do it or be alive during it, but you never know. Because I always figured that one day we're gonna go into like Antarctica and start digging around in the ice, and then we're gonna find some old virus that was like dormant in the ice. We wake it up, and then boom, a giant plague on the earth. So it's bound to happen.
Interesting you say that. There's a whole laboratory on the Earth, actually, where they store a lot of these, and it is in the coldest of areas, actually. And I remember watching, I think, a documentary on that, because they can and do find things all the time. I think they just found one recently. And this is always the thing that you go, well, whose hands are they going to fall into, right? And then who's going to complicate it for everyone? And then I think there was a movie, oh, what was it? 12 Monkeys. Do you remember that? Did you ever see that?
12 Monkeys. Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Wait, that's the Bruce Willis movie, right? Yeah, I think that is where he goes like back in time and trying to stop like some type of virus.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that movie now.
Yeah, you're right. It is Bruce Willis. Yeah, Bruce Willis, and then of course Brad Pitt's in it, right? I don't want to give the ender on it, but I remember watching that and I thought it was kind of weird. And I'm like, what is the 12 Monkeys? And the cover art never really said what it was. You're like, well, monkeys or what? But it was basically somebody wanting a global pandemic to happen, right? And like weirdness would ensue. But yeah, you're right. I forgot. He went into like the past to save the future, right? I think that's what it was, but he didn't know who did it and or create a problem for everyone.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole basis was just like a giant pandemic that just wiped out humanity.
Right, right. And he had to get ahead of it
Yeah.
or something. It's been a while since I've seen it. But basically, that's exactly what we've had, unfortunately, been having to deal with. Like, if you could have gone back in time, then capture the ones that actually released it, would you want to do that? I think to save that many people, yes. And then other people go, yeah, but, and then everybody goes, when it comes to time, and then people that know. But this is real life that we're living. We're not living what some would say is a science fiction, although I think if you would have told people 10 years ago, they would have said, yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. Then you would have said, well, it's happened in our history 100 years before that, which was weird in of itself, right? The Spanish flu, which is what everybody started to relate it to, and then some. So I always say, if you look to the past, look to the future, at least after a certain amount of time, the future did get bright after the pandemic of the 19 what was it 19
1920? I think
yeah,
it was 1920s.
I think it started
19 I don't know. I don't want to start shooting out numbers.
yeah, neither do I. It's information out there, you can research it, but we've researched it a lot here on the show, and it just is what it is. So all right, lots of questions, lots of hopeful answers. Grocery stores having some shortages, oddly enough. And they're saying, well, why? And of course, we've got people, stocking up, and then some. At least they're not stocking up with toilet paper. Do you remember the craziness of that? Thank God we're past that, right?
I am so glad that is not over. But you know what? I'm just gonna overstock just in case, because I never want to go through that again. Just I swear, just trying to find toilet paper, it was a chore. It's like, what the heck? Never ever again.
Yeah, this is the latest. Let's see. In the 50 years I've been in the business, Stu Leonard, CEO of the Northeast based grocery chain, says, we've never seen the markets like they are today. They're wild. Kraft Heinz said in a statement, it is seeing an all-time high demand for our brands. Kraft said it's seen double-digit growth for the first time in 5 years. Consumer demand for grocery store products, people are scrambling to keep up. Some groceries are struggling to keep items in stock, from kid favorite frozen waffles to certain beverages and Lunchables. The fight to keep store shelves filled with many popular brands is real. And that makes sense, right? Because you got the kids staying home, trying to stay safe, some of them getting sick, some of the parents going, okay, I got to make sure the families are taken care of. Of course, those products are going to go pretty quick. The company said to ABC News it has increased production to meet demand and is working fast and furiously to get more product into the hands of consumers as soon as possible. As demand outpaces supply for some items, they said their stores have tried to come up with new solutions. They said lobster is probably at a record high right now. As far as the price per pound, and lobster rolls are a big hit. Didn't know that. Good to know. Oh man, I want poppers right now. Jalapeno poppers right now. Jesse, you have no idea why. Oh my god, I need some of that right now.
No, jalapeno. Oh yeah, no, those cheese filled things. No, it's okay. I don't want to die.
They're good. I know. Take a lactate. One of the things we've done is make a shrimp roll right now. That's what they said. According to the Food Marketing Institute National Trade Association demand, pressures have yet to go back to pre-pandemic levels. The Food and Retail Organization said to ABC News, a combination of factors, such as shortages of materials and ingredients combined with labor and transportation, will continue to be disruptive and will create an uneven supply chain recovery. But we ask the shoppers hold on as we continue to recalibrate. So there you go. So there's the statement. I'm just wondering, like, why is it so expensive for us, right? Have you ever been lately to the store and you're kind of like, man, prices are just like higher than normal?
Yeah, I've noticed that recently. I've always noticed it's going up slowly, slowly. Just 10 cents here, 10 cents there, but over the course of a year, it ended up being $1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
how they get slowly.
It was probably the biggest increase. I know we're like, that's all we got for like $100. Like that was nothing. And it's just me and my mom. All right, people, we're going to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll regroup. We're looking for your comments next here on the morning show. Stay tuned. All right, let's see. What?
Uh-oh, did something happen?
Oh, no, you posted something a while back. It just came up.
Oh.
You said Pizza Hut soon to sell no more pizza. Oh, I see, because you posted. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, you saw how fast they turned back on that, right?
No, what happened?
OnlyFans said that they would not do any more sexually explicit stuff, and so the workers on there are like, "Wait, what? That's how you got your money. That's how we make our money." So I don't know what happened in the course of a night and a half, but they completely went 360 on that. Just they're like, "Yeah, we never mind. We made a mistake. We'll make it work."
Got it. Okay. I don't know what that is, but I guarantee people are looking it up. All right. All right. So let's see.
Yeah, I had to look it up because I didn't know. Well, I didn't know exactly what it was.
Right.
But
Gotcha.
yeah,
You're doing your due diligence. I get it.
I'm like, what's in the? Well, either way, they got their name out there and people know what it is now.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even know. All right. Let's see. Let's see. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah. Okay. Let's bring up our video. But I thought it was funny what you said. Like Pizza Hut. It's like Pizza Hut's hate. I literally ordered pizza and they didn't have. Get this. We want a deep dish, but they had no deep dish. Like I'm like, how could you not have deep dish? It's simple. Just like they're like, we don't have deep dish. I'm like, how can Pizza Hut not have deep dish?
That's weird.
Right. I know. Did they run out of deep dish pizza? Like it's just more dough. Like how do you do that? Right.
It.
All right, Shahari Kerala says, good morning, friends from Nepal. Good morning, Shahari. Thank you. It was 1918. Yeah, I think it was 1919, officially. It was 1919, 1920, and 1921. Steffi says, I know they say we are in the end times because in the book of Revelation talked about how there will be a pandemic happen and next will be famine. Oh, yes and yes. All right, Feds warn. Oh, let me focus on what stories are next. Okay.
We have 15 seconds.
Now you tell me. I'm just joking. All right, let's see. Oh, good. Need to make some money. Somebody just texted me. Some ideas to run by you when you have time. Make some money.
Here we go.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Yes,
back.
It is the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. A lot of questions about Afghanistan. And we're watching this kind of closely. Obviously, a lot of things are happening. Even though the August 31st situation happened, don't forget, of course, the bombers and the ISIS-K and that situation. Just because today is supposed to be the deadline, the question is what's going to happen next. So Taliban spokesperson told Taliban soldiers at a press conference after the U.S. soldiers left the airport in Kabul that they had secured victory for the whole of the Afghan nation. I told you that's how they were going to roll. That's exactly how they're rolling now. This is what they said. Let's see. According to a translation from Reuters, due to the sincerity, perseverance, and patience of our elders, I get it, they're going all religious, we gained our freedom. You gained your freedom? It's more like you're confiscating freedom from others, but okay. I congratulate all of you and our nation on this freedom from your tyranny. And I hope that Afghanistan will never be occupied, that it will be free, prosperous, and the home of Afghans, and that there will be an Islamic government. So what's an Islamic government? Basically, no difference between church and state. Imagine somebody coming in and saying, you can only practice Christianity. How terrible would that be for us all, Jesse?
Yeah, I don't want that. I'd rather just have everyone practice the religion that they want without having to be afraid of it, or people throwing stones at you or whatnot.
Well, and especially the way they spell it, right? Like back in medieval times. Let's just focus a little on that, right? It used to happen with certain kings, right? And certain kings were like, okay, this is our belief. This is how we're going to roll. Many people actually read the King James Bible, right? But King James, did he write the Bible? No, never. He never wrote the Bible. He actually had it, done differently a little. And then it kind of came under his name because it was during his reign or rule. I would say actually it came under kind of scrutiny later because, of course, people have questions. How do you say thee, thou, and art? Although, again, it's kind of cool sense, like Shakespearean. But was it his Bible ever? No, of course not. It wasn't the King James Bible. So why do we call the King James Bible? Jesse?
You know what? I have no idea. I have no idea about any of these Bible names, so this all new to me.
Oh, really? Yeah. Nobody ever thinks about it. They go, I read the King James Bible. And I go, do you know who King James was? They go, well, he was a king of the Bible. You're like, no. So let me get this before I mess it up, because I know I want to speak of what I know, but I don't want to mess it up. But here it is. The King James Bible is a descendant of William Tyndale's great translation of the century before. Now, if you know about the history of William Tyndale, he was a pretty cool man. But he suffered a lot for what he did. When King James commissioned his Bible, get it? His Bible. He gave specific instructions to the translators to use the best from the Bishop's Bible, Tyndale's Bible, Coverdale's, Matthew's, and Geneva Bibles. Now, in the preface to the 1611 authorized version, hold on, let me get this. In the preface to the 1611 authorized version, the King James Translation Committee said they did not seek to make a new translation, nor yet to make of a bad one a good one, but to make a good one better. So basically, they put in some of their own stuff. You get where I'm going with that. What we can understand from this is when it comes to translators, Tyndale is included among them as the original and probably the best. In the making of the King James Bible, Tyndale and the translators of the other Bibles used by the King James committees are all present in this great work of literature. The result leaves little doubt as to why so many people believe the King James Bible is the inspired work of God. But it's not. It's basically based on old scripture. Now, old scripture is completely different than the King James Bible. Do you see God going, thou art Moses, thou art need to speaketh for beeth. Do you see what I'm saying, Jesse? He didn't speak that way. If anything, he probably spoke in Hebrew.
Yeah, no comment. I have no idea. I don't want to get into this because I have no knowledge of the Bible and history around it.
It's okay. I studied it. I could do a lot of information on this. But it's just interesting because sometimes if you ask people certain things, they go, "Oh, I didn't know that." So here's the history for those of you wondering. In 1525, William Tyndale produced the first printed translation of the New Testament in English. Okay, the New Testament technically is Matthew to Revelation. Somebody quoted that in social media. Stephanie Reed says, I know they say we're in the end times because in the book of Revelation talked about how there will be a pandemic happen and next will be famine. So William Tyndale did some pretty cool stuff. Over 10 years, he revised his New Testament and embarked on a translation of the Old Testament, which is technically Genesis all the way up until Matthew. So you've got what's called the Hebrew Scriptures, right? And then you have the Greek Scriptures. So you have like pre-Jesus times and then after Jesus times is kind of the best way to put it. Tyndale made some controversial translation choices, but the merits of his work and prose style made his translation the ultimate basis for all subsequent renditions into early modern English, including the King James Version. So he basically adopted the Tyndale Bible. Now in 1539, now that was 1525, 1539, the official Great Bible, with the preface picturing Henry the Eighth, was produced for reading aloud in churches, and it used much of Tyndale's previous work. Edited and adapted by Miles Coverdale, Tyndale's New Testament and his incomplete work on the Old Testament became the basis for the Great Bible. That's what it's called, the Great Bible. This was the first authorized version issued by the Church of England during the reign of King Henry the Eighth. Now in 1560, now remember, this is 1560 of our history, right? In 1560, the Geneva Bible was published. When Mary I succeeded to the throne in 1553, she returned the Church of England to the Roman Catholic faith, and many English religious reformers fled the country. Under the leadership of John Calvin, Geneva became the chief international center of Reformed Protestantism and Latin biblical scholarship. That was back in 1560. How weird, huh? The Latin biblical scholarship. Who knew that was even a thing? These English expatriates undertook a translation that became known as the Geneva Bible. So it kind of, blossom. Now, my point in saying this is, imagine for a moment whoever is the person who ends up occupying a different territory, saying, this is the Bible you must read, and from this one you must believe the way I tell you to believe. And then you got to do everything what we say. So, did that happen? Of course it did. And then, of course, the church got involved. And, of course, if the church said heresy, witch, blasphemy, right? That happened again and again, right? No, they practice demon stuff, so we're going to burn them. And I'm like, okay, do you see where I'm going with this? All in the name of who? God and or Jesus. So people were burned at the stake. People were done in really bad ways because other people became extremists. Now, if you don't believe me, look that up. So even though the Bible is a good holy book, it can be slanted all for bad, back to the Islamic government that they want. Although the Quran is a good book, it is being slanted in such a way that it is bad. I asked somebody recently, if you hear Islam, do you know that Islam is Muslim? Like Muslim and Islam go together. Because it's the practice of Islam that makes one Muslim, or is it the one that's Muslim that does Islam? It's confusing, right? Are you kind of confused by that statement, Jesse?
Yes, I am really confused.
Yeah. And when you hear Islam, you automatically put it with Islamic State or Islamic Sovereign Nation or Islam, right? And it's kind of given a bad rap, but it's based on the Quran. And so people automatically go, oh, the Quran's really bad. If you do the research, Muhammad was a prophet of God, and he had a lot of statements to make. But the question is, are people slanting it as those of medieval times slanted it for their power? Because back in medieval times, who knew how to read? The majority? No. The rich and famous. And then the poor and or weak were made to basically, this is what it says. Don't worry about what it says. This is what it is. Now, what are they doing to the area of the Middle East? Making it so that people are what? Not as educated, and they are looking better and bigger than ever, right? We need to do something. It's been done before in our history. Let's not go back to the medieval times. Jesse was amazed to see, and some of you were amazed to see on YouTube, if you go and type in 60s and 70s of Afghanistan, you will see the times looked a lot better than what they are. It's like us going into Bible times, you dressing up in robes, and like that's being the fashion. It's not the fashion. Afghanians technically look very much like Western culture until the Taliban came in and did what they wanted to do, and then some. So, if anything, we got our own friends and family over there that understand Western culture. And don't believe me, ask a friend. All right, people, we got to take a quick little break. We'll be back right after these messages with more. Stay tuned. Yeah. William Tyndale, although he did some really good stuff when it came to the Bible, and my mom brought this up, actually. She said Tyndale was burned at the stake. He actually suffered a lot for doing what he was trying to do.
Most people do.
Yeah, it's on, let's see, bing.com/news, which is, this is funny. It's on the muslimtimes.info. Look at this, yeah. Muslim fostering universal brotherhood in our global village. See, I'm telling you. These are the better ones, by the way, because they have all this information. That they're smart. People go, wait, Muslim believe in the Bible? Yeah, they believe it as a holy book. Very, very interestingly. So when you talk to Muslim, you actually can, if you research the information, you'll see a lot of similarities that you can share and agree on that you would be surprised. You'd be like, oh, but Islam or being Muslim are basically the same thing, but there's different sects in it. Just like in Christianity, there's different beliefs in it, right? You've got Protestant, you've got Lutheran, you've got, right, Mormon, you've got Jehovah's Witnesses, you've got a lot of different ones all practicing a Christian type based faith, right?
That's so confusing.
With different slants on it. Yeah, with different slants on it.
All right, I'm just gonna convert to Jediism. That's it. Simple, easy.
You mean Judaism or Jediism?
Jediism. It's real. Look it up.
Jediism of the light, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. If you research it, you go, oh, we need to be more loving and kind.
I like to mess with people and tell them I'm a Pastafarian.
Wait, you said that before.
Yes, it's a Pastafarian. They believe in giant flying spaghetti monster.
That's right. You know, he's alive and well, though. You just got to be careful what dimension he ends up on. He might go from the 5th and 8th one to your room. So be careful, Jesse.
Thou shalt have no other monsters before me. Oh my God. Never mind. I'm not even going to look at that. That's.
Did you Google it?
Yes. I'm done with the morning.
Everybody's wondering what Jesse does. He researches it as we speak. So there you go.
There's some things I wish I didn't know, but yeah. Yeah, 5 seconds, we're coming back.
All right.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Tomorrow, U Theory.
That's right. It's the morning show. You're on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I want to say a big shout out to Norma Reese, who says Islam is the religion. If you're of a Muslim faith, you understand Islamic, or being is that of Islam actually is an Islamic faith as well. Yes. The reality is people just need to understand we're all really interconnected more than we know. And if you go back into history, you kind of see some really interesting things pop out. Speaking of history, Stephanie Reed says, I know it's almost the future, like in Phil of the Future show when they got stuck in 2005 from the year 2021. Or, oh, wait, 2121, sorry. Yeah, from the year 2021. So I haven't seen that one. Have you seen it, Jesse? I haven't seen it.
Why does that sound familiar? I'm afraid to Google it because I think I might know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if that would, yeah, just, yeah. But speaking of which, somebody brought up some information. I mentioned William Tyndale in the last segment. William Tyndale helped translate the Bible, much of which the King James Bible definitely borrowed from. So when some people say, yeah, but I think the Bible had changed over time, yes and yes. That's why when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, they were able to compare a good majority of it and see the good majority of it actually matched more than not. However, translations do change based on people and times and kind of, how people speak. For example, thou art Jesse. Thou art alive, Jesse? How beeth arteth Jesse?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to answer that.
Exactly. We don't speak like that anymore. But the King James Bible, although it sounds real pretty and cool, was in a Shakespearean time era. Does that make sense? Like, that's why in Shakespearean plays, thou hath no fury other than thy fury of thy own. Hast thy understandeth thee, Jesse?
Nay, I do not understand thee.
Ah, nay, that's old language. Naya. I do not understand it thee. I understand it thou. And there you go. But it's confusing, right? When you read the Bible, you're like, wait, who's speaking? What's speaking? It sounds cool, but it's kind of hard to differentiate what is the saying at the end of it. Now, William Tyndale lived at a time where this was kind of normal-ish. It wasn't as normal. It wasn't adopted until later, just so you know. But William Tyndale was an English scholar who became a figure in the Protestant Reform in the years leading up to his execution. Yeah, he's well known for his translation of the Bible into English. He was influenced by the work of Desiderius Erasmus, who made the Greek New Testament available in Europe, and by Martin Luther. Or Martin Luther King Jr.? Yeah, not the same one, but Martin Luther, just true, look it up. While a number of partial and incomplete translations had been made from the 7th century onward, the grassroots spread of Wycliffe's Bible resulted in a death sentence for any unlicensed possession of Scripture in English. What? You had to have a licensed version? Yeah. Even though all the major European languages had been translated and made available. Tyndale's translation was the first English Bible to draw directly from Hebrew and Greek texts, the first English one to take advantage of the printing press, and first of the new English Bibles of the Reformation. It was taken to a direct challenge to the of both the Roman Catholic Church, they were not happy with it, and English laws to maintain church rulings. See? We say what happens, not you. That's not what the scripture says. It says this. King, lock him up. And that's exactly what happened eventually. In 1530, Tyndale wrote The Practice of Prelates, opposing Henry VIII's divorce on the grounds that it contravened Scripture. See, he opposed the divorce on the grounds that it contravened Scripture. While Tyndale had to learn Hebrew in Germany due to England's active Edict of Expulsion, I'm telling you, these are real things, look it up, against the Jews, he worked in an age where Greek was available to the European scholarly community for the first time in centuries. Erasmus compiled and edited Greek scriptures into the Textus Receptus, this is how they would speak, ironically, to improve upon the Latin Vulgate, following the Renaissance, fueling fall of Constantinople in 1453, and the dispersion of Greek-speaking intellectuals and texts into a Europe which previously had access to none. Sharing Erasmus' translation ideals, Tyndale took the ill-regarded, unpopular, and awkward Middle English vulgar tongue, improved upon it using Greek and Hebrew syntaxes and idioms, and formed an early modern English basis that Shakespeare and others would later follow and build upon as Tyndale-inspired vernacular forms took over. How art thou, Jesse Sanchez? Thy be a Jedi, or thy be a Jedo?
Yeah, I can see why we don't use that language anymore. It's a headache.
It is. It was
It's
cool of the time, but it quickly kind of found its way out as new warriors came in, and they were like, "I don't speaketh to it liketh. I just kill you." Vikings. It's true. Look it up. All right, people. So there you go. In 1535, Tyndale was arrested and jailed in the castle of Filford outside Brussels for over a year. In 1536, he was convicted of heresy. Good old church, because it always was heresy. Like, do you even know what heresy is? It's not just a famous word that you just say. Yes, it is heresy that you're saying heresy, that we don't know what heresy is. How heresy is that? That's basically how they spoke. Maybe. He was convicted of heresy and executed by strangulation. Yeah, after which his body was burnt at the stake. Isn't that terrible, Jesse? For having done all that good?
Yeah, it doesn't pay to be a good guy in history.
It doesn't.
It started to be like what, Game of Thrones? What? Oh my God, are we living Game of Thrones?
Well, that's what Tyndale lived. Yeah.
Oh my God, I just realized that we're living Game of Thrones. Oh my God.
Yeah. He probably would have liked Game of Thrones too. He would have been like, I'm not doing the William Tyndale Bible this time. I'm going to do it different. If he could go back in time and be like, forget it. You guys have your own Bible. I don't need to go and die in the end. His dying request that the King of England's eyes would be open and seemed to find its fulfillment just 2 years later with Henry's authorization of the Great Bible for the Church of England, which was largely Tyndale's own work. The Tyndale Bible, as it was known, continued to play a key role in spreading Reformation ideas across the English-speaking world and eventually on the global British Empire. His version worked prominently into the Geneva Bible, which was taken to the New World to Jamestown in, that's here, 1607. And on the Mayflower, in 1620. Notably, in 1611, the 54 independent scholars who created the King James Version drew from Tyndale, as well as translations that descended from his. One estimate suggests that the New Testament in the King James Version is, get this is interesting, 83% Tyndale's, and the Old Testament 76%. So even though it's called the King James Version, Jesse, a good percentage of it is technically William Tyndale's work to help make it available to all. What this is kind of bypassing is he was able to make it in mass quantities, and the church did not like the mass quantities of people to have it for themselves to read, because it was easy to read. And that is the problem. When you lock up knowledge from the general public, why do you lock it up? Is that for power? Is it for greed? Is it for you to say, I know what God says, and you don't? Yeah, because people like to control that way. And then in essence, people end up thinking, yeah, it's a God thing. No, it's not a God thing. That's a man thing. Man that want to dominate man to man's injury. Look it up. All right, people, we're going to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
See, and you wonder why I have a problem with that. It's like, who do I believe? Everyone has their own version of the Bible.
No, I trust me. I believe you on that. Yeah, it's true.
Next, I'm going to have the Jesse Sanchez version of the Bible where everyone eats bacon every day. No. Then everyone will die of heart attacks. No, don't do that.
You know what? Well, okay. It's funny, Bobby. Thank you, by the way. Bobby sent 50 stars to us. Thank you. He says, I wish it would flood here in Southern California. No, don't say that. People never wish that. He doesn't know what a flood is, right, Jesse?
True. I know. We just need water. Our state needs water so bad.
Yeah, you never want it. If you've ever been in the middle of a mudslide, I don't think you remember when Malibu, suddenly the whole side came down and crushed a bunch of people. Mudslides are not fun. Yeah, that happened in. It was terrible. It made national news. He says, I flow with my own mind. Got it. Okay. Flow the flood in your own mind. Got it. Okay. But I like his other thing. Hashtag stay tuned. All right. Yeah, look, a lot of people blame a lot of other people for the wrong thing. Don't blame other people is my point. So, oh no. Sorry, I just got bad news. Oh.
I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah, a good family friend I knew back when I was a teenager.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, her mom died.
From COVID or just life?
I don't know. She says, just want to let you know my mom died and want to invite you to the Zoom funeral. I hate that we have to do it on Zoom. I mean, it's easy. Not gonna lie. I've already been in like a couple of funerals recently, and that's not fun. But it's not the way.
It's not the same.
It's just not.
It's not the
You
same.
can't talk to the person.
You can't talk to them, hug them if they're crying, and
Yeah.
just. It's something that you get. It's something you got to do personally.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, I remember her mom. Very, very well.
40 seconds.
All right. Yep, to the Delgado family out there. Liz, Perla, Diana, Irene. Ugh. Not a happy state to find yourself in.
Ten seconds.
Dude, you posted the oh, cool.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Here we go.
Yes, you do. Welcome back. It is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. And evidently, Jesse Sanchez is loving his new drone. He posted it on Facebook. How cool is that, Jesse? How quick was it to post on Facebook? And what drone is it? I want to bring it up.
Okay, no, so yeah, it's not thank God it's not a 4K one. It's a 1080 one. It's the Contixo F24 Pro, and flying a drone is very, very different than piloting just like a race car or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Because you're on like a flat surface.
Yeah, it's not easy. I try. Oh, you got the cool one, man.
And it's difficult at first because I pointed it in the wrong direction, and I had it pointed it towards me. So when it floated up, I freaked out and I pushed the wrong button and it went straight towards me.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
Yeah, so I went like this. It broke my fingernail, but I learned I had to stop and read the directions first.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah, you really do, especially on these things. But yeah, no, it was an interesting experience. I started slow just to figure out how it moves and stuff like that. But controlling something just like in a 360 space is so different than like a race car.
Yeah, I'm looking at how cool the one that you got is, by the way. And it's got a 4K UHD camera, 30 minutes longer flight time, stronger and stable GPS signal, foldable brushless motor. How far does it go? Have you tested it in the field?
I have not tested.
You gotta
be
careful of it. Don't make sure it stays away from the tower though, for sure.
Yeah, I want it like a giant empty field so I can test it. I don't want it around any houses yet because that's just creepy. No, Bobby, it's not armored yet.
Yeah, Bobby Stamp says armed drone. No, never, Jesse. They're hearing you. Be careful with that. Don't ever say that out loud.
It's a fun experience. It's very different. It's actually something that takes some skill to pilot these things.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I remember getting a drone. Actually, we were given a drone for the little one, and we were like, okay, how do you fly this? I think it was like a 9.5, and I was frustrated because I was like, the wind was blowing it. It was getting, and it was like, you really have to have a lot of patience. Oh wait, you got 3D view mode, dude. Like, do you know you could put on the thing and then hook it up to your thing and then see it from the perspective of it?
No. Yeah, there's still a lot of functions I haven't figured out yet. Like there's a VR mode where that I don't have a headset yet to put my phone in.
It says put your phone in the VR glasses. Provides an amazing visual fidelity and outstanding 3D experience. You can enjoy first-person view, real-time live video directly with it. Ooh.
Okay, so now you get a headset, so it's gonna be some fun.
Yeah, you just need to get like where you know where they have the you tap into the app and then you put it on your phone and then you put like the goggles on and then you do it. I don't know how good that is, but you might want to test it. That sounds cool. have somebody around you so you go, wait, where am I at? But maybe it's good in first person view. Maybe it's easier to kind of navigate.
I think you have to be like sitting still,
Yeah.
like not moving. So that, yeah, because if you start moving, you're gonna end up losing directions on where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. Let's see. Mom's putting a lot of bad stuff out there. She goes, "What new horrors are unleashed?" Then, as the fourth horseman responds to the call, let's not put that out there right now. Let's just survive the global pandemic because we do not want that situation to occur. And even though it was, put into the Bible, back to the Bible. Very interesting. I know people got questions about that. Look, here's the answer of it all. Okay, if any of the prophets of old were alive today, do you think they would like to be alive today? Jesse, what is your answer here and now?
Ooh, good question. Like if they were to see what became of it.
Yeah, like the moments that they all prophesied and then some, especially those of the New Testament talking about the end of times.
Yeah, I would just be like, you guys are dumb. You guys are twisting my words. Because it's kind of like telephone. Like you start off with something, and by the time you get to the end, it's a completely different thing.
Well, it's a summarization. I tell people this. I had a conversation with my mom about this exact subject. When people, let's say, for example, you and I have this morning show day in and day out, right? People know little glimpses of it. And then somebody wanted to put a book on you and me, like, together for whatever reason. I don't know. And would they include every single thing we've ever said, or would they take just excerpts from what they remember and then put it in and then try to piece it all together in like a couple short verses? Does that make sense? Like what would be the description of you and I?
Oh, good God. I hope they don't just take bits and clips of what we say, because yeah, a lot of times we say stuff out of context. But yeah, it's best if they were just to like take what we say and just put it down rather than just, oh, they said this, this, and this.
I think if Shakespeare put you and I together, he would say, "Thou art Jesse Sanchez, who hath be thy strongest man of thy vessel that he occupies, called the KMT radio station Space. For if you look at thee in thou place, you will see him quite magically disappear in and out of thy space that he is in. For he hath beeth in a vessel of some sort, known as KMT radio." Right? Like people don't know what they see. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how people. I tried to read. Wasn't Romeo and Juliet like that? Like old Shakespeare?
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what that was. Yeah. Well, Romeo and Juliet is Shakespeare. Yeah.
Yeah, very well. I can't remember how it was written. It's just, yeah, it's very, very difficult to read.
Yeah. And then maybe they would say, "Thee, Jesse Sanchez, met thy woman of thy heart, and thy heart of theeth he spoketh. He saideth to sheeth, will thy art marry meeth?"
Yeah, I would have to take. I would have to spend like hours trying to write like one sentence just to say it like that. Wow.
To which she saith, "Yeseth, for Jesse, you are my maneth."
I wonder how long you can keep that going.
For quite some time. I'm telling you, I got this for days. Okay, but here's the reality, okay? In reality, when the prophets of old lived their life, they never thought it was going to be turned into a magical story of wisdom, right? They never would have thought it that way, right? For example, everybody knows the story of Jonah and the what? Whale, fish? What was it?
I think it was a fish. I don't think they said it was a whale.
Okay, all right. Well, it kind of just says he got swallowed up by a big old what?
Monster?
Yeah, or something, right? And then he got released to be able to go back to the city of Nineveh, right? Because he had proclaimed a kingdom message, and the kingdom message basically was, "You're all going to be destroyed." And then all of a sudden, they were not destroyed. Then he said, "Forget it, I'm out of here." And then he got onto a ship, said, "I'm going the opposite direction of that area so that I don't have to speak for God." And then all of a sudden, a big storm, they said, "Who is the man on this vessel that is creating problems for us?" And then he says, "It is I, throw me over." Never, because he didn't say that. They threw him over. He said, "Get rid of you, you're the bad luck on this ship." And then suddenly a big whale came and goes, "Oh, I'm going to swallow you up." And then the whale went onto the land and spit them out. Now, if Jonah were alive today, what do you think he'd say about today's conditions?
I have no idea.
I think he would say, why are you not saving the whales? The whales saved us. Right? Think about it.
He's like, the whale ate me and spit me back up.
Yeah, but he saved my life. Why are you guys eating the whales, man? You should keep them alive, because what if I have to get back into the ocean? And if you got into the ocean, wouldn't you want a whale to save you and put it in its belly and then spit you back out on land? Hello?
You would think so, right?
You would think so. So I think if Jonah were alive today, he would say, save the whales. After all, I mean, famous in the Bible. So there you go. All right, people, we're going to take a huge break. We'll see you tomorrow right here on The Morning Show. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, and for Bobby Stamps, he says, air show in the Huntington Beach, California. Don't miss it. First weekend of October. Let's go. I will say that's probably one of the coolest things to go do. I've done that about 3 or 4 years ago. And had fun, a lot of fun in Huntington Beach. I should probably reach out to our friends there. We do have friends at the Huntington Beach Air Show. So thank you for updating me on that. I might look them up. All right, we're going to say goodbye,